everybody. Happy Sunday morning. It's Traci Ellswick here, owner of Middle of the Magic Travel, and I am here to talk with you a little bit about traveling to Disney with special needs. So let me wait for a few minutes to see if anybody comes on, if anybody's even interested in talking at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, or if they're more interested in laying on the couch in their PJs, right? Taking it easy. You guys are out there. Give me a shout out. Let me know you're out there. All right. Becca's watching. Hope you're feeling better, Becca. So this segment for our virtual vacation planning weekend is traveling to Disney with special needs. So my focus in my business and my specialty, so to speak, is traveling to Disney with a child with autism or a young man with autism. So I've been traveling to Disney with my son that was diagnosed with autism since he's been about 5 years old. And now he is 25 years old. So I have about 20 years experience of traveling to Disney with an autistic child / young man. What I will tell you is there's different severities of autism. So, it's this big spectrum, right? So Lucas is probably he's more on the spectrum of somebody that used to be pretty aggressive, very can't stay focused. So going to Disney was going to be a real challenge with him, especially being younger, the bolting, the tantrums, the unable to stay focused. So staying in lines would be near impossible, right? So sounds pretty daunting. So going to Disney with somebody with any special needs is a big task. So you have to do a ton of research. And that's what I did. Before I was a travel planner, I finally got the chance to go to Disney with Lucas. He loves Disney. Disney is his whole entire life. So that's how we communicated through with him, was through Disney movies, Disney movie lines, Disney sing-along tapes, etc. So getting to Disney was so important for us because we thought if we can interact with him at home with these Disney movies and stuff, what would it be like in the parks, right? Wow. It would be incredible. So once we got him there, it was incredible, but the work it took to get there was daunting. So it's going to Disney with somebody with special needs can be daunting, a lot of work, a lot of research. But trust me this, you don't have to do what I had to do and learn all these things. You have travel planners with Middle of the Magic Travel that specialize in special needs. I am not the only person at Middle of the Magic Travel that specializes in special needs. We have several ladies that have children that have disabilities and have used that DAS card and have navigated through the parks with their special needs. So everybody's special needs is a little different, and that's probably the best part about our group is we all have different niches, and my expertise in special needs may be a little different than let's say Stephanie Kinsey's expertise in special needs. So with me saying that, I'm going to focus on my area of special needs. So I am going to talk more about traveling to Disney on my perspective with my son on the spectrum that would be more severe than, let's say, somebody that had moderate autism or somebody that was Asperger's. So I'm going to more be on the line of a more severely autistic planning of a trip. So the number one thing that you need to keep in mind when you're planning this Disney trip is where you're going to stay. So a lot of people go to Disney and they're like, oh, I don't care where you put me at. I'm just laying my head on the pillow and I'm taking a shower and I'm out the door. Well, And that's great. And that's absolutely great for some people. And they don't have to worry about where they're staying. But if you have a child with special needs, you need to be thinking about that because it's seriously important. Disney is made up of over 30 resorts, right? When they're all open pre-COVID. And then they're humongous. I mean, the Caribbean Beach Resort is sprawling. And Coronado Springs Resort, sprawling. So there's different, I mean, you just can't say, give me a standard room over at All-Star Movies, and this is going to work for my situation. In my opinion, that would not work for my situation. So what I would tell you is resort is key. It's more expensive. I'll be honest with you. My recommendations may not be somewhat budget friendly, but these are the best advice I can offer you if you have a child with special needs, a young adult with special needs. The Contemporary Resort is my number one choice for traveling with special needs children with autism. And I will tell you why. The Contemporary Resort is situated right by Magic Kingdom, right? It has a walking path. That is the key. The walking path to Magic Kingdom. If you've ever had a child, and even, excuse me, a typical child that's had a meltdown in the middle of Magic Kingdom, the last thing you want to do is put them on a bus or put them on a monorail. That walking path, you walk that child on this walking path, you calm them down, you do your ABA, whatever you need to do to get them where they need to get back focused, and you walk them back to this Contemporary Resort. So you have this beautiful walking path that you can take. So no matter if you're in the Magic Kingdom, and I'm telling you people, it happens. We have had a 16-year-old have a fit in Magic Kingdom. So now Disney is very much trained for things like that. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But right now we're focused on what resort you would want to choose. So my number one pick would be the Contemporary Resort due to the walking path, the location of the resort. It's not too overwhelming with sensory. I feel like the Contemporary is really calm when you look at the rooms, you look at things. It's not overly sensory for young children that have autism. It's a great hub. It's a great place to enjoy your vacation. They have excellent pools. Chef Mickey's is a great choice, especially if you don't want to have to wait in line for characters when the characters are meeting and greeting. There are several shops there. There's a quick service restaurant there. Like I said, the walking path to Magic Kingdom is key. That's why you want to stay at the Contemporary. If you have a child with special needs, especially somebody on the autism spectrum that would have behaviors. So that would be my number one. Also, I did add some more to my list lately. I think that you could still incorporate a moderate or a value resort and be very convenient for you. And that is because of the new amazing Disney Skyliner. So this Skyliner is a game changer. So if anybody follows me on Facebook, they've noticed lately my trip patterns have changed. So my hub is always the Contemporary Resort, sometimes the Grand Floridian. Contemporary is like my number one go-to. But then I do half of my trip at the Contemporary Resort, and then I do my other half of the trip at a Skyliner Resort. Why is that? Because I put all of my Magic Kingdom days at the front of my vacation and use that walking path to the Magic Kingdom from the Contemporary. Then I change gears and I can either stay at Art of Animation Resort, Pop Century Resort, Caribbean Beach Resort, or the Riviera Resort for the second part of my trip, because I can take the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios and Epcot from any of those resorts. Now, for my suggestion on which resort would work best for a family that has a child with autism. Probably my number one choice would be the Riviera Resort. Unfortunately, the Riviera Resort would be the most expensive option. So what I would suggest to you is you can do a studio at the Riviera Resort, request being closer to the Skyliner, which we can do on online check-in. We can do that, make notes and call in DTA for you and tell them we want to be close to the Skyliner. You can also get a bottom floor. I just did this a few weeks ago. I put in my request, and my requests don't get any trumping over anybody else's request. I'm just a guest like anyone else when I travel at Disney. And I got a bottom floor, and I got super close to the Skyliner. One thing staying at the Riviera with the Skyliner, as opposed to staying at Art and staying at Pop and staying at Caribbean Beach, is you have a direct Skyliner to the Epcot Resort from Riviera. So that's why I would place it number one. If you were traveling, however, there's a little trick to being at the Caribbean Beach and still being able to use that, because I know the buildings that we can request, not always guaranteed, that we can request at the Caribbean Beach that would get you on that same Skyliner track. Caribbean Beach and Riviera are butt up against each other, right? Which isn't a bad thing. I thought at first, I don't like this idea, but it's absolutely gorgeous. The French Riviera, who doesn't want to travel there? Their food options are excellent. Their rooms are great. They have a kitchenette at the Riviera because it is a DVC resort. So you could do a lot of cooking inside. There's 2 means of showering in there, even with a studio. So there's plenty of room and plenty of accommodations for things that you may need with a special needs child. So number 1 would be Riviera. Number 2 would be Caribbean Beach. Now with the Pop and Art of Animation, you're going to want to do a room nearest to the Skyliner. Art of Animation, I would not recommend the Little Mermaid rooms for people that have special needs, because it is the furthest back, and I would rather see a family in Pop than I would at Little Mermaid. Personal preference, experience. I've done this. I'm going to tell you, it's not convenient with your autistic child at Art of Animation Mermaid rooms. However, if you could splurge a little bit and do the suites, the Finding Nemo suite is the suite that you need for being closest to the Skyliner. So we're going to book you a Finding Nemo suite. We're going to put in the notes that you want to be close to the Skyliner, and bingo, you're going to walk out the door of Nemo and you're going to be looking right at the Skyliner. That's going to be convenient. Plus, if you're Nemo, your preferred room, you're also going to be close to the food court, the main building, etc. That awesome Finding Nemo pool. So, okay, so Art of Animation would probably be, I think it would be a tie with Art of Animation and Pop, because you can get a room at Pop. You can request the 60s building. You can request being close to the Skyliner. So that would be your number 1 budget way of doing it. But with the Skyliner, you're going to have to go to the hub, right? And then you're going to switch off. So I'm going to be at Pop Century. I'm going to get on the Disney Skyliner. The hub is at the Caribbean Beach Resort. So I'm going to get off at Caribbean Beach Resort. And then I'm going to either go to Hollywood or I'm going to go to Epcot. I'm going to tell you, Hollywood lines are a lot less than Epcot, but I think that they do an absolute great job with the Skyliner. I think that it's definitely a plus, and it's now on my traveling to Disney with special needs list for resorts that I would offer to families. Now, my second thing I think is important, is I think it's wonderful that you could use Disney's Magical Express. I think it's not time saving, because sometimes it's not, but it's money saving. However, if you're a family that has a child with special needs, especially autism, that is either moderate or severe, I would not recommend using that option. I would recommend renting a car. So if you're flying in, a lot of times it's cheaper to add that rental car onto your flight. I know with Spirit has super low rental cars when you add them onto the flights. Frontier, we were able to get a rental car very inexpensive when adding them onto our flight. So that's something for you to look at when you're booking your flights, is adding that rental car. You will have to pay parking per night. Staying at a Disney resort if you have your own transportation. However, that transportation is going to come in handy when you're staying at the Contemporary Resort to go to Epcot, because right now the monorail is not working for Epcot, and Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. Then, if you were staying at a Skyliner resort, you'll need a car for Magic Kingdom, and you'll need a car for Animal Kingdom. And on your Magic Kingdom day, when you're staying at a Skyliner resort, I would recommend you making a breakfast reservation at the Contemporary Resort so you are able to park your car there for the day, enjoy the parks, and then come back. They have some great options. It doesn't have to be an expensive breakfast at Chef Mickey's. The Wave has some inexpensive options that you could do for breakfast. Everybody's full and probably good to go until dinner with a snack. So that would be an excellent idea as well. So number 2 on my list, the resort, then I think that you really need to rent a car. Also, stroller rental. You can either bring your strollers. Some people have adaptable strollers that have special needs children. Kids that are 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, don't feel awkward with them being in a stroller. Lots of typical children that travel to Disney are in a stroller sometimes up until the age of 7 or 8. So go ahead and bring that stroller with you because they are going to need it. Or you can rent a stroller from Scooter Bug and we can help you with that as well. And that's the only place. And you could also rent a wheelchair if you would need a wheelchair, if you had a special needs issue that you needed a wheelchair. And sometimes they need a wheelchair just from pure exhaustion. So you can rent those through Scooter Bug. And the best part is they are the only ones that will deliver to the Walt Disney World Resort for you at Bell Services, then come back and pick them up at Bell Services. Totally seamless. I use them all the time. Highly recommend. So what happens if your child is at the Walt Disney World Resort and they are having a temper tantrum, right? Sensory overload. Somebody bumped into them. That's a big one. That's people want their space. So where can you find that space to desensitize that meltdown, right? So there are all kinds of little nooks around the Walt Disney World Resort that you can find. There's also, believe it or not, that we have utilized the baby care centers even with an older child, even as an adult. If a cast member sees that you're having issues, I have been brought backstage before and allowed to desensitize backstage. You want to take breaks throughout the day. And I know a lot of people don't want to eat into their park time, but sometimes a nice set down lunch in cool air conditioning is just what the doctor ordered, right? We do that a lot. We do a nice set down lunch. At Magic Kingdom, a lot of times, Liberty Tree's a great place to go for lunch, right? It's a big restaurant, a lot of room. Sometimes you feel like you have your own little room in there. So I would recommend making a lunch reservation at a park as well. You can also take advantage of using the mobile order app. There are companion restrooms throughout each Walt Disney World park. We will help you find, we'll give you a list of all the companion restrooms if you need them. That is a big key, especially like once you start traveling with a child and they become over the age that, oh Lord, I can't take this 20-year-old man in a woman's bathroom with me, So we use the companion restrooms. And what I'm going to ask people, only use those if you absolutely need to use those, because sometimes I've waited for 20 minutes or so for somebody to come out of this companion bathroom so I can take my grown autistic child into this bathroom, and there's somebody doing their makeup or changing their clothes, or that's not what that's for. That is for people who have to use that restroom because that's their means. They've got little kids that they're changing and they got to keep an eye on another one. That's acceptable. You've got a child that, you know, that needs cleaned up, that maybe had a real bad potty accident. That's acceptable. Somebody that has to take somebody to a companion restroom doesn't mean I'm going to do my hair and makeup. Just a little PDA over there. That always aggravates me when I see that. But, okay, so check. We've got baby care center. Sometimes they allow you backstage. We can find you some quiet places in each park to suggest. When the fireworks, and you could also use these for the cavalcade parades. Noise canceling headphones are great. They also work at when you are on the cruise ship and you're going to the all the deck parties, and sometimes it gets really loud inside the theaters. So we have a set of noise canceling headphones that we use, and it looks just like any other young kid walking around with some headphones listening to music. But the truth is, it's just muffling out all those noises that really can make somebody melt down. So that's definitely I would recommend the noise canceling headphones. So that is some of my tips for traveling to Disney with an autistic child. But the one thing that really saves the day, and we work with each client and we explain how this works, and we would never promote any misuse of this system, is the Disney's DAS card. It has evolved over the years. Back in the time that we used to use it with Lucas when he was younger, it was called the guest assistance card. And it used to be like a little card that they gave you. It had everybody's names, this and that, and you would take this big old clunky card to, it was before FastPass Plus too, so there was no FastPass line, FastPass Plus line. They did have FastPass line, but you used to go through the handicap entrance and use this big card. So it was like, woo, red flag, something wrong with these people. I'm glad that it has evolved over the years. Although it was instantaneously, you were on a ride, which wasn't a bad thing, but it just kind of called you out a little bit more, and it was a little bit uncomfortable at times, because sometimes you'll look at somebody that has a special needs situation, and you'll never realize, like right off the bat, hey, wait a minute, these people need special accommodations. And they're not the police that get to decide those kind of things, but sometimes they'll be like, hey, why are you so special? Why do you get to go through this line? So I like the new way that they're doing it, because it's kind of less discreet. More discreet, sorry. So DAS, what's that stand for, right? It is called the Disney's Disability Access Service Card. That's a mouthful, isn't it? I'd rather say DAS. So don't go in and ask for a guest assistance card, because I've had clients, after I've preached and teached and taught them how to do it, they're like, we don't have that anymore. So there are certain ways of obtaining this card for less wait times. So first of all, the Disney's Disability Access Card is for people who truly cannot wait in lines for any amount of time. It's not, autism is a really good example of using the DAS card. All right. So you have a child that is unable to wait in line, that has meltdowns, it would not be possible for when I took Lucas when he was 5 years old to stand in line for 60 minutes for absolutely anything. So what you do now is you go into guest services at any of the 4 theme parks, and you ask for a DAS card for the person that needs it. So what's going to happen is you are going to bring your whole entire party to obtain this DAS card. So, for instance, I would take Lucas and I'd take my family in, and what they will do is they will take a picture of the person. So they have their picture on file. If you are you're just traveling for your visit, it'll be good for 14 days. So this is the only time you're going to have to obtain this card is this one time. Okay, and if you're an annual pass holder, you have to renew it every 60 days. So 14 days for local guests, for people that are just traveling on vacation, and 60 days for annual pass holders. So you are going to go to guest services at any of the 4 theme parks. We're going to tell you where those are. When you book your trip, we'll make sure that you know all this, and you'll have all this information in your digital itinerary. You can take up to 6 people on this DAS card. So 6 people can ride with the person with the disability. In order to get the passes, right? I've got this. They're either going to scan your Magic Band, or they're going to scan your card. If you have a room card, because some people don't have Magic Bands anymore. And then you're going to go to your first attraction. Sometimes, especially at Magic Kingdom, guest relations, guest services, and it's going to be in the town hall, the big white town hall. When you walk in Magic Kingdom, it's to the left-hand side. That's where the guest services is there. Again, for some reason, and it's just I've done this for 20 years now, right? That's the best place to obtain them. Don't ask me why. I just feel like they're the most helpful at the Magic Kingdom guest services. They're the most magical. I have been questioned at Hollywood Studios before. And trust me, if I bring my son in, it's very obvious why we need the DAS card, right? So Epcot does a pretty good job. Animal Kingdom does a pretty good job. Animal Kingdom's lines can be sometimes long. But my suggestion, Traci, been doing this for 20 years, suggestion is to obtain your DAS card at the Magic Kingdom guest services at Town Hall. So 6 people, they're going to scan Magic Bands, scan cards. All right. Now, Magic Kingdom will do this a lot of the times. They will go ahead and schedule your first Fast Pass with this card. So your first wait time. Here's the way it goes. If Mine Train is 60 minutes, your wait is probably going to be 45 to 50 minutes. So it's like 10 or 15 minutes leeway over the scheduled time. Does that mean that you can go and scan this on at Mine Train and get right on the ride? No, it doesn't work that way. You're still waiting just like any traditional guest. You're just not having to wait in line due to your handicapped or special needs issues that you have that doesn't allow you to wait in the line. Now, if you're just somebody that has a wheelchair and doesn't have issues with waiting, or if you're in a scooter, you will go into the traditional line and not get the DAS card, because the DAS card is for a different situation. So you would just go through your regular lines. They have plenty of room for scooters and wheelchairs in most traditional lines. But so you would take, and let's say they give you the Mine Train. They'll tell you, you need to come back at a certain time. It will show up on your My Disney Experience app. You'll go, you'll scan in at Mine Train. Here's the deal. Lucas, or whoever your person that obtains the DAS card, will be the first person to tap in. And then the other people will tap in after the person whose the card is actually for. You cannot ride the ride if the person is not with you. The person is the first person to scan in. But, okay, we've done Mine Train. Check it off, right? Mine Train's done. Yay, we had a great time. Now we're going to go over to Peter Pan, and we're going to obtain a DAS pass at Peter Pan. The person doesn't have to be with you with a disability, which is beautiful, because sometimes they just don't understand. I'm going to go in front of Peter Pan and get this thing, and I can't go ride Peter Pan. So it's perfect when you have a child that just can't understand, why can't I ride Peter Pan right now? So I would go over by myself, let's say, and I would say, I need a DAS return time. And where those would be located is, there are people with iPads and phones with a guest relations outfit on. It's usually a navy blue, and they have these or sometimes they just have the regular park outfit that matches the the ride. But they would be situated out in front of the ride near the FastPass entrance. And you would walk up to them and say, I need to obtain a return time. And they would just scan my band and they would get a return time. I would not need to bring Lucas. I would not need to bring everyone in my party because Disney understands that doesn't work. So I would go and get the return time. Again, the return time is, 60 minutes, let's say. I get to come back probably between 45 and 50 minutes. Have I avoided waiting in line? No, I've still done my time. I just haven't waited in a traditional line because I'm unable to. So then you would just fill in your day with other attractions with little to no wait while you're waiting for those key things. Mine Train would be something you would want to get one for. Peter Pan, Space, Splash Mountain, Pirates gets crowded at times. Thunder Mountain gets crowded at times. And when FastPass Plus is working, and when it comes back again in the future, you can coordinate that with your FastPass Plus. So you can have a FastPass Plus return time, and you can have a DAS return time. So when those two little things work together, it is a seamless day for somebody who in any other dimension, it would be a nightmare to take to Disney. But with those two keys, they can have an absolutely magical day, just like any other individual. So when FastPass Plus comes back, you'd be able to coordinate that. So you'd be able to have a FastPass Plus, a FastPass, and a return time with your DAS card, and you work those together to make your day even less stressful and less wait times and less meltdowns. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have left out. Does anybody have any questions for me about special needs travel, about how the DAS card works? If anybody thinks that this is something that would be beneficial for their vacation, we could talk about it and see if this is something that works for when you travel. We are here for you for any questions or concerns that you may have. We do not, this is not something that we've read online and that we're relaying back to our clients. This is something that we have experienced. I've experienced this for close to 20 years now. So we want to make sure that when you travel to Disney with a child with a disability, with a young person with a disability, with an older person with a disability, that we are able to help you. And there's no more doctor's note. It used to be back in the day when we first did it, and it was the big old card, the guest assistance card. You need to bring a doctor's note in. You don't need to do that anymore. It breaks HIPAA laws. And then Disney can tailor each situation. So maybe this traditional DAS way I'm telling you that it works may not work for you. So Disney will be more able to help with the exact way it would work for you. But this is traditionally exactly the way that they do it. For characters, when characters are back in the parks, and if that's something that your child... Hannah, I'm reading yours question that some people may have. If a person that holds the DS decides not to get on the ride after tapping. Well, I'm assuming that if they've already tapped, sometimes there's two places you need to tap, that it would probably be okay, but somebody would need to go back with the person that that the card was actually for. I think that situation probably happens very infrequently, but that would be up to Disney to decide. I'm assuming that if they tapped both times, that they would probably be allowed to go on the attraction, but somebody would have to stay back with the person that the card was actually for. But remember, that card's not for the other 5 people that are with them to be able to ride rides quicker. That is to accommodate the person with the disability, and these people are just traveling with them. You can, after You can only add the initial 6 at the very beginning. If you have other people that are visiting with you or whatnot that you want to add them, you can add them at a later date. There are guest relation people all around the parks. Say hi to Rayvon if you see him. Rayvon's our friend that works at guest relations. Sometimes, pre-COVID, he's a VIP tour guide, but right now he's doing guest relations, so he would be able to add that extra person onto them. But 6 person maximum at a time. So you would have the person that obtained the card and up to 5 more people. So you would be able to interchange people, right? But it's a cap at 6. But you could, after you initially get your first 6, you can add additional people on. Most people, it's just an excellent program. And I've got to tell you, like, I've been traveling to Disney for a really long time with special needs. And the cruise line absolutely does just as good, if not better job with special needs. When Lucas was really little, they, I don't know if you're familiar with the cruise line, but the cruise line has kids clubs, right? And the kids clubs are free of charge, and there's excellently trained counselors, etc., that are in there. But then they know, back in the day, back on the Wonder, like years and years ago, first cruise, Lucas was not able to stay in that situation. You know, Joel, he loved it, loved the kids clubs. So what they would do is they would schedule time for Lucas to come down with me, and we would go to the kids club and play. So, and then, oh my God, this is how awesome these counselors are. There was a great big bag hanging from our door one night, and it had everything that he loved. Like, they paid attention. They knew he loved Toy Story and Mr. Potato Head and this and that. So somebody that was super talented drew him a picture of Toy Story. They put games and t-shirts and hats and whatever they could find in this humongous bag and hung it on the door and thanked him for coming to the kids club. So, if you ever have a doubt that Disney is not going to take care of your special needs, wipe that out of your head, because I am living proof that you can travel to Disney with special needs, and it will be the most magical trip ever. And for people who think, why is this crazy lady constantly going to Disney? And why doesn't she try anything else? Well, I go to Universal from time to time, right? I love butterbeer. But they won't take care of you like Disney, not with the special needs. Just going to put it out there. Love Universal, but you better get the Express Pass. But seriously, I will go back time and time again. That is my main my main source of entertainment, obviously, and it's my main vacation. You're either going to see me at Disney World, Disneyland, or on the cruise line. And what I'm telling you about Disney World and their DAS card, Disneyland has a similar card, and it works similar. So we have we have to tweak that a little bit for you, but it's basically what I'm telling you is about 95% accurate at Disneyland too. Again, have I been to Disneyland with Lucas? Of course I've been to Disneyland with Lucas. So I can help you out with that as well. So if anybody has any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. We just barely scraped the surface of special needs travel today. Very, very, very scraped the surface. There's so much more information that I would love to share with my clients, that I can teach my agents and they can share with their clients. They have different experience with special needs. So we all work together, and we've got a world of difference of issues and things. But when we work together, we learn about all special needs. So we would love to be able to help you with your trip. And I would consider ourselves experts at traveling to Disney with special needs. Almost 9 years now that Middle of the Magic has been around. I've been a travel planner for 13 and a half years. A lot of my agents have been working for years and years and years with me. And we're here to help you make magic for your trip. And just because that there's a couple of hurdles that we got to overcome with some issues doesn't mean that your trip can't be as magical as other people's. It maybe even be more magical than other people's, because Disney takes care of their clients, and they really hold a special place in their hearts. I hold a special place in my heart for people that have the special needs, and we want to make their trips so much So magical. So I would love to help you with your special needs travel. I'd love to dig a little deeper into this, but I've been talking forever, so probably people are like tuned out. But you can go to middleofthemagictravel.com. You can click on our planners. They all have their specialty. They have their bio up. They may live close to you. They may have the same issues that you're dealing with your family. So feel free to contact one of them. If you would like us to figure out who would be the best fit for you, send in a request a quote and we'll figure out the best match for you. Or if you already have a Middle of the Magic travel planner, because why wouldn't you? Because they're all awesome. Contact your Middle of the Magic travel planner and she or he will have information. And like when you book with one, you book with 30 plus people of ours, because we work as a team and we help each other and we work through all these situations and figure out what's best for our clients. And it is the best team out there, and we would love to help you. Well, Courtney, yeah, you would probably need to know a little bit about where to store your insulin, etc. If the DAS card would work for you as well. It's just a simple consultation of what would work for your special needs. And something I totally did forget to tell you about, and this may work with you, Courtney, is Disney works with diets as well. So there's special diets. I know Rosella did a presentation on special diets, I believe, yesterday. So you can you talk to your travel planner. If you're on a diabetic diet, we can make sure that we relay that information to Disney. Disney will make sure that you're getting exactly what you need. People with autism sometimes have a gluten and casein sensitivities. So they would be able to accommodate you with that as well. So we would actually be able to mark on your dining reservations. There's a dining line that we can call about your special diets if you have that, places to store insulin, and then see if the DAS card is something that would work for you during your stay. So if anyone else has any questions or comments, please let me know. If not, I will sign off, and we've got some great segments today, and I encourage you to stick around. We will be doing a Zoom at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or as I like to call it, Mickey time, with the parent panel about first visits. And then we'll be wrapping it up tonight at 8, so you'll have to see me 2 more times today. You'll be like, lady, shut up. So yeah, I'll be on the parent panel at 4, and I'll be thanking everybody and signing off at 8 o'clock. So if you need more information on special needs travel, you can go to our request a quote, or you can email me at Traci with an I, Traci at middleofthemagictravel.com, or contact your personal Middle of the Magic travel planner. Thank you so much, and I'll see you real soon.